Good morning, integrated 3. All right, this is for September the 3rd. This is for Tuesday, September 3rd. Okay, so I want to give an update on the situation. I talked to Principal Wright this morning. Both of us are still waiting on the county to fix this issue. We're going to be following up with them tomorrow morning. Please believe me when I say I really want to be in the class. I really wish I was there. I like being there. I like helping you all in person, and I would much rather do that than be sitting here at my desk making these videos every night. I would really much rather be in class. So I look forward to seeing y'all soon. I'm going to keep y'all updated, but I'm still just waiting to hear back. All right. That said, today we've got real life cross-section notes. So it's going to be similar to what we did last time, similar to last week, Friday and Thursday. So if you need help with that, you're always welcome to go back. Look what I posted on Friday. I never delete the post, so those videos are still there. You can also check out those other links that I had posted down below. And that is going to, and those links will also help you visualize like what a cross section is and how that is working. All right, so here's what we got. First thing, as far as steps for solving, you're going to read the problem. You're going to make a picture, label the problem, and then give your answer in units. So make sure you're getting those units right? Like if we're talking about area and we've got inches, that's going to be square inches. Or perimeter, that's just the length, so that would just be inches, that type of stuff. Units are important. Make sure you get the units. All right. So it says, a machine at a sawmill cuts a 4-inch by 2-inch by 8-foot. Notice that this is feet, not inches. I would actually go ahead, just convert that into inches. Remember, there's 12 inches in a foot, right? So 8 feet would be 8 times 12, which is 96 inches. All right, piece of wood, lengthwise parallel to its base. Okay, so whenever they give you dimensions, and it's like something by something by something, that is going to be length, width, height, in that order. So we've got our length, we've got our width, and we've got our height. All right, so I could say my length, so I'd say my width is 2 inches, my length is 4 inches, and then my height, right, that height would be the 96, right? The height is that 96. That last one is the height. All right, and then it says it's parallel to the base, right? So if my base, think about the base being like this dotted line right there, right? I'm going to be going parallel to the base, right? They're on the same level. So my cut that I'm making is going to look like this, right? It's like the same level as the base. And I'm going to have this red cut that looks something like that, right? It's going to be the same rectangle shape that the bottom and the top are, right? That this is also going to be a 2 and that this is going to be a 4, which would mean, right, the opposite side is also a 4 and a 2. Okay? Well, it wants us to find perimeter and area. So remember, perimeter, that's just adding up all the sides, right? We're just going to make like it'd be like making a full loop around that box. So it'd be 2 plus 4, 2 plus 4 plus 2 plus 4, right? Perimeter, you're just adding it up all the way around. So the perimeter would be 12 inches. And then area, right? Since it's area, we're just looking at that square, that red square, the cross section. It's going to be the length times the width. Right, that's how you find the area of a rectangle. So that is going to be 2 times 4, which is 8 inches squared. All right, let's check out some more examples. We got 4 more. So we have this stone. It's got a base diameter. It's in the shape of a cone. Diameter of 13, and a slant height is 12. And then we're going to cut it in half vertically, so up and down. And we want the perimeter and area of that cross section. So let's draw that. So we've got, let's see what we have here. So we've got the diameter is 13. Got like this cone, right? It's going to come up, something like that. And then the slant height, so when we say the slant height, that's like talking about the side of the cone, right? That's not talking the direct height up the middle. That's talking about the slant height. So this guy right here is going to be 12 inches. All right, and we want to cut it in half vertically. So when I say cut it in half vertically, what that means, we'd actually be looking at the red triangle, right? Like think about if I have a cone, like almost like a traffic cone, those orange traffic cones, and you look down on it and you're cutting it straight in half, right? It's you're looking at that middle section there. It's going to be shaped like a triangle. So what we're interested in is the perimeter and the area of that triangle. All right, well, perimeter is relatively easy because remember, a cone is symmetric. That means it's the same on both sides. So if one side is 12, one of our slant heights, so the other slant height's also going to be the 12. And again, perimeter, you're just adding them up. 12, 12, and 13 is going to add up to 37 inches. So my perimeter is 37 inches. Area is a little bit more to it, but nothing too crazy. So what we want to do is we want to find the area of a triangle, right? That red triangle. Remember, the area is 1/2 times the base times the height. Well, the height, that is talking about this height right here, this blue height, right? It's not talking about the slant height. It's talking about that vertical straight up and down height. So we got to be able to figure out what actually is that height. All right, and that is we're going to need Pythagorean theorem for. Okay, so we've got our base. I'll go ahead and write that in. Our base is 13, right? 13 is this length here. That's our base. So we got 1/2 times 13 times whatever that height is going to be. So let's figure that out. So first of all, if we're looking at Pythagorean theorem, we need a right triangle. And this is going to be pretty standard if they give you these cone problems and you're cutting it in half vertically. It looks like this is the only one. Yeah, it's the only cone problem on this example set. But for your cone problems, if it says cut it in half vertically, it's going to be the same type of thing. First of all, let's look at let's find a right triangle. I'm going to draw it in green. Notice that if I cut that red section in half, that gives me a right triangle, right? That gives me this triangle right there. So I've got that hypotenuse, right? That side is the 12. Again, I'm looking at this green triangle, right? Because remember what we're doing right now is we're solving for the height of the red triangle, because so that way I can find its area, right? Because I want to find the area of the cross section. So to do that, I need the height. So we're looking at this right triangle here, because that's going to let us solve for the height with Pythagorean theorem. All right, so 13. So I can use that to find the length of the short side of my triangle, right? So if all the way across is 13, half of that is going to be half of 13, which is 6.5. So that gives me that small side. So now I've got the hypotenuse and the small side. All right, so as far as finding that, we're going to do Pythagorean theorem. Remember, we've got leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. Right? Remember, the hypotenuse is that slanted side, that 12, right? It's the side that is opposite from our 90-degree angle. So the leg, right, that's that height. It's that one that we're solving for, right? This is our other leg. So we've got leg squared plus the other leg that we know, that's 6.5, equals hypotenuse squared. All right, and our hypotenuse is 12. So we're going to go ahead, solve that for L. All right, so 6.5 squared. Let's go ahead and figure out what that is. So 6.5 squared. The other thing you could also do on your calculator, remember squaring is just multiplying by itself. So that's really just 6.5 times 6.5, right? And that is 42.25. So we've got leg squared plus 42.25 equals, and then 12 squared, or 12 times 12 is 144. Okay, we're going to subtract 42.25 from both sides. You're going to get the L squared equals, it's going to be 101.75. All right, and then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to take the square root. All right, remember that's the little button on your calculator. Should look something like this. So we're going to take a square root, and you're going to get L equals, give me 1 second, I'm going to do that in my calculator too. It is 10.09. 10.09 is that length. All right, great. So all that is going to give us the height of the triangle, right? right? Remember, this whole reason that we did that is because we wanted to be able to do 1/2 times base times height of the red triangle, right? Because we're finding the area of the red triangle. That was the whole reason we needed that. So we can go ahead, plug that number in to our formula, and that is going to give us the area of the red triangle. And that is going to come out to about 65.6, something about right around there, depending on how we round. It doesn't specifically say how to round, so for this one we can round to the nearest tenth. That's okay. If it doesn't say, I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. It doesn't matter that much. So 65.6, and then we are talking in inches. That is an area, so it will be inches squared. So area is 65.6 inches squared, and then your perimeter was 37 inches. All right, let's go to the next one. So we've got a block of concrete. It is 3 feet long, 3 feet long, 5 feet wide, and 7 feet tall. 7 feet tall, so that's going to be a 7. See, sometimes I'm not very good with anticipating my drawings. I draw them too far, and then I end up cut into the problem. All right, so if it's cut in half horizontally, so remember horizontally, that's talking about parallel to the base. That's like, think about like the horizon, like if you've ever been to the ocean, right? You're looking out at the sea, and the horizon, it's flat, right? So horizontally is flat, vertically is up and down. All right, so we want to find the perimeter and area of the cross section. So this one's going to be similar to the first one. Again, horizontally, that's parallel to the base. So I'm making this cut. It's going to go around. It's going to look like this. And then we're going to have this red area right here. Right, you think I'm just slicing it through the middle, and I just want the area of that red guy. All right, so that's going to be a 3 and a 5, right? So my area, length times width. So area will be 15. Let's see what we're working with. We're working with feet. So it's going to be feet squared. And then perimeter, right, we're just adding up all the way around. So 3, and then don't forget this would also be a 3. That would be a 5, right, because the opposite sides are the same. So front and back are going to match up. Left and right are going to match up. And then perimeter, you're adding them all up, and that is going to be 16 feet. And don't square the perimeter, right, because that's just it's just a length, so it's not going to be squared. So area is 15 feet squared, perimeter is 16 feet. So in my opinion, the ones that are like the box ones, those ones are a little bit easier than some of the others. I think the cones are maybe a little trickier, but just my opinion. Let's see what else we got. We got a cylinder. Looks like these last two are both cylinder ones. All right. So it's cut in half, perpendicular to the base. So this is the base, right? We'll be up and down, perpendicular to the base. Diameter of 8 and a height of 6. All right, let's see what we're working with. All right, and do my best to draw this. So we've got the top, we've got some sides, we've got the bottom down here, something like that. And we've got the diameter is 8. So that's coming all the way across this way. That's going to be an 8. And then the height, that's up and down. That's going to be a 6. All right, so we're looking right here. That's going to be a 6. And remember, when we're cutting it, we're going straight up and down, right? Perpendicular to the base. So that means if this is my base, I'm coming down, making a 90-degree angle. So think about slicing straight through the top. So if I slice straight through the top, I'm cutting like through this blue line. It's going to come and cut down, right, straight through the middle of the bottom. And it's going to end up making this rectangle, right? It's like I'm cutting it right in half. Like think about like if you've got like a can of soda or something and you just cut straight down the middle of it, right? So what we're looking at is that rectangle. That rectangle, think about, or maybe a better example would actually be a cake, right? Because a cake's actually like filled in inside. So think about a cake and you're cutting straight down the middle of the cake. And what we're looking at, and then we open up those two halves of the cake, and then we're looking at that flat, like that box, that rectangle that gets created, right? That face of the cake when we cut it in half. All right. And we want the perimeter and the area of that blue cross section. All right, so remember area, just going to be length times width, so 6 times 8. So our area is 48 inches squared. Perimeter, all the way around. So this is also going to be an 8. That's also going to be a 6. add them all up. So 6 plus 6 plus 8 plus 8 is going to be 28 inches all the way around. All right, there you go. There's the area. There's the perimeter. We got one more. Let's see what we got. Again, this is actually very similar. So it says you cut the cake vertically to make 2 equal halves. Find the perimeter and area of the cross section formed by the cut. All right. So let's see. The only difference this time, right, is we've got the radius rather than the diameter. So think about if I'm going to cut it in half. I'm cutting it in half like this way, right? We'll be looking at that half. Imagine that's like inside the cake, right? We've opened it up. You cut the cake in half, and then you open it up, and you're looking at that flat rectangle once you cut it into the 2 halves. All right. Well, the only thing you got to be aware of, right, when we're finding area, we want length times width. Well, we're calling for the width, right? The length, that's 7. That's only half of the length, right? That's the radius. We want all the way across. So half of it is 14. So sorry, I gave it away. Well, half of it's 7. So all the way across is going to be it's going to be 14 inches. All right. So when we go for the area, the length times the width, that's going to be 4.25 times 14. So your area is going to be 59.5 inches squared. And then your perimeter, again, that's just adding up, going all the way around the sides, add everything up, is 4.25 over here, 14, right? Because your left and right are the same, top and bottom are the same. So again, you're just going to add those up, and you're going to get the perimeter is 36.5 inches. All right. As always, if you have any questions, you can text me, you can call me, you can text me, you can email me. I'm always available during class time. Even if you have questions after school, I'm available too. You can ask the sub, you can rewatch the video, whatever you need to do to get help. I'm always available. Please, I really want to help. Other than that, good luck, have fun.